Welcome to my kitchen. This is going to be the first recipe that I put up. I was going to be putting up a pork belly dish. That is currently in the works. So a little bit of patience there if that's okay. There's quite a bit of work on that. I'm kind of going a little bit big on it. With the weather deciding to be absolutely shite, I've decided to do a nice heartwarming dish. And what is more heartwarming than a nice chicken soup? But I'm going to be doing a Chinese version. So we're going to be doing a Chinese egg drop soup. It's a very, very easy recipe. I would thoroughly advise anybody doing it because it's so easy to make. It's so quick to make. You can have it done in about 20 minutes with prep and everything. It's one of those dishes that you can kind of add what you want to it. It is really dependent on your flavor profile, what you want. You know, you can do it with prawns, you can do it with chicken. If you want to do a vegetarian dish, you can do it with mushrooms. Which is actually one of my favorites, but I'm going to go with a chicken soup this time. So I'm going to put a picture up with all of the ingredients you'll need. We'll go through the prep and we'll get it going. Hello and welcome to the channel and welcome to my first video. So thank you very much for being part of this. So we're going to start off with seasoning our chicken thighs. We're then going to get a pan and get it as hot as we can with a tiny bit of oil. You only need very, very little oil here. As we're going to be rendering the fat out of the chicken thighs. So we're going to get them in there, get them sizzling, and we're looking for a nice color on these now. What we're doing is we're rendering out the fat, so when we do add our broth or chicken broth, that fat is going to get incorporated into it and you get a much more warm, lovely, rounded flavor. So as you can see, there's a nice color coming there. I'm going to leave them for a little bit longer though. Perfect. And don't be afraid to move your chicken around the pan just to make sure you get kind of an even color on both. So now we're going to add our chicken broth. You don't necessarily need a very expensive chicken broth for this. The reason being is you're going to be adding aromatics and you're going to be adding kind of stronger flavors. So it's not all about the chicken broth. So you can go ahead and you can use either shop bought chicken broth, you can use homemade chicken broth, or you can simply just use stock pots or stock cubes. Whatever suits your budget and whatever suits your flavor. I know that some people don't like the intense flavor of chicken. So for our aromatics, we're going to now take the white part of a spring onion. This a lot of the time is thrown away, but it's lovely in soups. We're then going to take some thick slices of ginger. The reason they're thick and unpeeled is because we're going to be taking them out anyway. They're just to add flavor. And now we're going to do a rough chop on the carrots. This is mostly for a little bit of sweetness and a nice bit of texture. Because carrots are lovely anyway, and they always go well in a broth or a soup. And now lastly, we're just going to bash some garlic with the flat side of our knife just to break it apart. Again, this is going to be taken out of the soup in the end product. And all of this is going to mingle inside there for about 20 minutes. So we're going to get all these in there, pop a lid on, and then just sit for about 20 minutes. Sorry for that, but I am a big proponent of singing while you cook. Singing is a pastime of mine, so I love to do as many things that make me happy all at once. So now I'm using potato starch, and the reason being is that it colors the broth a little bit less, and I find it more manageable. So it's 2 tablespoons of potato starch to about 4 tablespoons of water and a half a teaspoon of turmeric. The reason being is, as you can see there in the broth, there's a lovely kind of golden color that you get from turmeric. So we're going to mix our eggs. We want these to be mixed as well as possible because they have to have a nice flow going into it. You can add a splash of water if they're not kind of combining. So we're going to add this slowly in a dribble. This is called flouring the egg, or an egg flour. So it kind of blooms inside in the broth. You let it sit for a couple of seconds just to kind of get all the proteins together, and then we slowly mix through it. And what this does is it kind of creates a lovely kind of consistency of egg where it's threaded. So it's a nice kind of long threads. We're now going to add in the chicken that we've taken off the thighs from earlier. So that was just, I scraped it off and chopped it up. And we're going to add that in, give it a lovely stir, and then we're done. We're just going to top it with some spring onions, with a little bit of chili. And one of my favorite things to top anything like this with is just some nori. It's very inexpensive, so dried seaweed. So that's the egg drop soup. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I would definitely appreciate a like and subscribe. I'm going to be uploading videos hopefully every Tuesday at around 1 or 2 o'clock. So definitely keep an eye out on that. I'll put a link down for my Facebook and my Instagram, and thank you once again.